Hi, I'm Sara Delaney from One Big Happy Yarn Company. Welcome back to our Granny Square Crochet Along. This series is all about granny squares, how you make them, and the ways you can use them. We have everything you need to crochet along with us at onebighappy.com. In this episode, we're making a never-ending spiral granny square. Let's get started. We're going to be using Cascade Whirligig, which is a wool and acrylic blend. So it's washable, and it has these great color changes worked right into the ball of yarn. You don't have to worry about changing colors. The yarn does it for you. The pattern is written in 3 sizes, so you can make a crib size blanket, which is great for newborns, bringing them home. It comes out to about 18 to 20 by 18 to 20. 2 balls of this yarn will get you a 3 by 3, and 4 balls of yarn will get you a little over a 4 foot by 4 foot blanket. You will also need stitch markers. Crocheters always need locking stitch markers because when you put a stitch marker in your piece, you need to lock it in place. It's not going to hang out on a needle and carry along with your work, so you need to be able to lock it there. Scissors, tape measure, darning needle, and for a crochet hook, we're going to be using an H8 5mm. So whichever way you identify your hooks, by the US letter size, by the number size, or by the millimeter, it's an H8 5mm. Let's get started. I'm going to start with a slip knot. Let's be honest, I always start with a slip knot. And my slip knots are always adjustable by the tail. So I'm going to show that to you one more time. And when I say it's adjustable by the tail, I mean that if I pull on my loop, my tail gets shorter. And if I pull on my tail, my loop gets shorter. All right, and then let me separate out my tail and my working yarn. All right, I am going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the rest of the stitches in this first round, I'm going to work in that very first chain. And because we made that slip stitch that's adjustable by the tail, that chain will open up to accommodate all of the stitches that we're going to work into here. All right, so right into that very first chain, I'm going to do 3 double crochets. Now, you'll remember this part from the last episode when we did our single color granny square. This one starts out exactly the same. I'm going to chain 3, then I'm going to do 3 more double crochets into that same first chain. 2. Oh, see here. So I split my yarn, which you can see right there. That's a strand from this loop that should be down here. So what I'm going to do is grab that yarn and just tuck it under that one strand, and then we're back in business. And I'll finish that double crochet. I've got 1 more for my group of 3. If you were with me in the last episode, granny squares are all about groups of 3 double crochets. So 3 more double crochets together. 2, 3. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3. We're going to chain 3 more. 2, 3, and then we're going to do 3 more double crochets into that same stitch. Let me go back there. Do that last double crochet one more time. Don't be afraid to take your work out. I have never learned so much from my work as when I take it apart and watch how it comes apart. All right, so it's all loosey-goosey here in the center now. So what I'm going to do is pull on that tail to help tighten it up and neaten it up. Much better. And I'm going to pause right here and identify my 4 corners. So I'm going to put stitch markers in each of my corners. So you'll see that I've marked these 3 corners, but I haven't marked this one yet because this is where the trick is to make this a continuous granny square. What the heck does that mean, Sarah? I'm just going to move my yarn over here. It feels a little more comfortable coming from that direction. Ah, and look, I popped my last double crochet again, so I'm just going to pull it out and do that last double crochet one more time. And then I'm going to chain 1. See, I'm so used to doing this that I did it without telling you what I was doing before. So I chained 1. And now I'm going to do my corner here. 3 double crochets. There's the 3rd one. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 more double crochets in the same spot. And now I'm going to mark that corner. That chain 1 space there is the key to what makes this continuous. So if we stop and look at this for a second, let me lay it down for you. It does not look square, right? It's funky. It's almost like a rectangle because normally it would finish up there and look square. But because we did that first big loop and we did that chain 1 there, this has popped us up and around into the next round already. Put my hook back in there. And now I'm going to chain 1 to bridge the gap to the next corner. And then I'll do a corner. That's 3 double crochets. Chain 3, 2, 3. 3 more double crochets in that same chain 3 corner space. If you split your yarn, slow down, take out a stitch, go back. I'm going to take that stitch marker out and move it up into that corner I just made. Lock it back in place. Chain 1 to bridge the gap, I already did, and I'm moving over to the next one. Make another corner, 3 double crochets. Then your chain 3. 1, 2, 3 more double crochets. That corner is made. Move your marker up into the new corner. Then you're going to chain 1 to bridge the gap. Make another corner. It's a lot of corners at the beginning of granny squares. As it gets bigger, you have more of the groups that become your sides. Chain 3, 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3. If you're watching these tutorials outside the US, we are using US crochet terms. So make sure you double check your pattern if you are used to English crochet terms. All right, I've gotten real loosey-goosey here in the middle again. So I'm just going to pull that tail to tighten things up. You're going to weave that tail in at the end so it'll stay nice and tight. All right, so here we are back where that chain 1 was. And in every chain 1 space, you work 3 double crochets. Then you chain 1 and you go to the next corner. Three double crochets. chain 3, 3 more double crochets back in that same space. Then we're going to chain 1. I'm going to take that corner marker out, put it in the new corner that we've made, lock it closed. Don't forget to lock it closed. They can fall out, but not if you lock them closed. So then I have a chain 1 space to work into. I'm going to do 3 double crochets there. Oh, split my yarn. Take your time. It's not a race and nobody's timing you. Take your stitches out as you need to. Take your time with your stitches as you need to. Crochet at your pace. Here I'm doing another corner. So it's 3, 3, and 3. It's the magic number. 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 more double crochets back in that same corner. Move your marker into the next corner. If I'm crocheting too fast for you, you can watch at a slower speed. You don't have to try and keep up with me. I crochet a lot, hours a day, most days, and my fingers fly, but it's not a competition. Then I'm on to the next corner, which is what again? 3, 3, and 3. 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 more double crochets, all in that same corner space. Then we're going to take that stitch marker out, move it up into the new corner. Are you catching the pattern here? Corners, sides, corners. Chain 1 to bridge the gap. 3 double crochets in that chain 1 space. Chain 1 again to get to the next corner, and then 3, 3, and 3. Now remember, all the details of this are in your pattern, so you can follow along with your pattern as we crochet here together. 3 more double crochets. Then I'm going to move that stitch marker up into the new corner that we've made. Let me just show you what it looks like here. So here we look square, even though the last time I laid it down to look at it was a little rectangular. But you can really see how it's starting to square out. And you're just continuing around and around and around at this point. You're going to work. That's a chain 1 space, so you do 3 double crochets and a chain 1, 3 double crochets and a chain 1, then you're back to a corner. Then you work your way across the side and the corner and the side and the corner, and you just keep going around and around and around until you get to whatever size you want. This is a finished blanket. We used 2 skeins for this one. You can see the beautiful color changes, and that's all in the yarn. I didn't do any of this. That's all in the whirligig yarn. And I just kept going until I had about 1/3 of a ball left, and then I decided I wanted to add a little edging. So let me show you what it looks like to add that edging. You don't have to add the edging. You can just keep going with your granny square until you get to wherever it is that you want it to be. You don't have to work to the end of the skein. You can just work to wherever you're comfortable. Let me grab my hook. All right, so here I've got a piece that's got a couple of more rounds in it than what I was just working on, and I'm at a corner. Now, if you didn't want to put any edging on your blanket at all, just before you work the next corner, you could just do a slip stitch, just like that. That simple. And then you can fasten off and weave in your ends and be done. And you can bet money at parties, throw this blanket in front of people and ask them to find where the end of it is. And unless they're crocheters, they won't be able to find it. But I decided that I wanted to put a little edging on this blanket. So that slip stitch is important. And then I'm going to do 5 single crochets in this chain 3 space. The first thing I want to do is chain 1, because from this point forward on this edging, I'm not going to be working in a spiral. I'm going to work in rounds that join and finish before I start the next one. And it's only 3 rounds in this edging, so it's nice and simple. So I've chained 1, and I'm going to do 5 single crochets in this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they got a little crowded over on the left hand side here, so I'm just going to slide them back a little bit and evenly distribute them. Isn't that a nice pretty corner? I love a single crochet corner. Now to help myself later, what I'm going to do is put a stitch marker in the middle single crochet here. So the third single crochet out of those 5, I put a stitch marker in it. That's the very center of my corner. Every time you go around a corner, you're going to have to add extra stitches in whatever the center is. This just helps you to find it when you come back around. Now I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the top of every stitch and in every chain 1 space across this side. If you were with me in the last episode, this is the same way that we joined the granny square to the swatch when we were making our pot holder. Only we're not having to go through 2 layers this time. We're just going through the layer that we're working on. 1 single crochet in the top of every stitch and in every chain 1 space until you get over to the next chain 3 space in the corner. I know you've probably noticed me pulling on my yarn occasionally. I like a lot of slack in my working yarn. I don't like tension. And the yarn's woven through the fingers on my left hand, so I usually hold on to my hook with my left hand for a second, and then I'll use my right hand to grab my yarn and pull some slack, because that's easier for me than having to let go with my left hand, pull the yarn in, and then weave my yarn through my fingers again to find my tension. But you do you. However you hold your yarn is right for you. All right, I'm almost to that corner, just a few more stitches. Last double crochet. Now, because I'm going to put 5 single crochets in this corner, I'm going to get that stitch marker out of there first because it'll be in the way. And then I'm going to do 5 single crochets in this corner. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I'm going to find the third one. So I count back from the hook. The loop on the hook doesn't count. 1, 2, 3. That's the third one. That's the middle. Now it's marked. And then again, I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch and chain 1 space around, remembering to do 5 single crochets in those chain 3 spaces in the corner, and then mark the center single crochet so it'll be easy to find in the next round. So now we're ready to start round 2. And that starts with a chain 3, which counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And then we're going to skip 1 stitch and then go into this stitch with the marker. So the details of all this are in your pattern. You don't have to worry about following along with me here. I'm going to do a double crochet, then a chain 3, and then 1 more double crochet. And I don't need to put the stitch marker back in this corner because this is going to look different than the sides. And now I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to skip 1, and I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch. and then that's our pattern across the side. I'm going to chain one, I'm going to skip one, and double crochet in the next stitch. Chain one, skip one, double crochet in the next stitch. And you can see that this lovely yarn has changed its color in the middle of the last round that I was doing. And there are, a dozen or so different colors. So the yarn I'm using for this is Cascade Whirligig. Oh, and my yarn wants to turn into a knot here, but there, I've got it. The Cascade Whirligig. There's also the Snuggly Patter Cake, which has more baby and child colors. And I'll show you, I have a little crib blanket in that yarn when I get to the end here. And this will take you, depending on the size blanket you're making, it'll take you a bit longer to get across the side than it's taking me, since I'm just doing this little sample to show you. All right, I've reached the other corner, so chain one, skip one. The next stitch has that stitch marker in it. So I'm going to take it out. I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to do that corner bit again. So double crochet, chain three, and another double crochet. And then we're back to our pattern. Chain one, skip one, double crochet in the next stitch. You see that gives you a nice open stitch pattern out on the outer edge. So you're going to continue around until you come back to that first chain three that we started with. So here I am at the end of round two. I've done my last double crochet, chain one, and now I'm ready to join. Remember, we chained three here. It counted as a double crochet and a chain one. So this is the top of my double crochet. I'm going to count back one, that's the chain one. So the next one is where I want to join. Pop my hook through there and slip stitch to join. You really can't see where the color changed, though if I look, I can see that it happened here at about the midpoint of round one, and it just really blends in and is that beautiful burgundy color all the way through for round two. So now I'm going to do round three, which starts with a slip stitch and a single crochet in that chain one space. Then I'm going to chain two, and then I'm at this corner space. So the corner space is a single crochet, chain two, a single crochet. Now our pattern for the side is chain two, single crochet in the chain one space, chain two, single crochet in the chain one space, and you're just going to continue that all the way around. You get to the next corner, you'll single crochet, chain two, single crochet, then continue your pattern along the other side. And when you come back around, you will slip stitch to the very first single crochet that you made. Here you can see where I finished. This is one of the Snuggly Pattern Cake colorways. Much more baby appropriate. But again, this is the same pattern. This is that same continuous granny square. We started in the middle and kept going around and around and around. We did our simple border. Now we're going to weave in the ends. There's only two. I love a project that only has two tails to weave in. So I'm going to thread my tapestry needle. I love these bent tip needles. It's a lot easier to get into the stitches. So I'm going to take this tail and I'm going to go under the top of the next stitch and pull it through to the back. That helps to anchor the last stitch that we did in the first stitch, and now my yarn comes through to the back. And now I'm going to weave in and out through the body of a few stitches. I go down to where the legs of the stitches connect with the row below. I can go back up through the body of the stitch to the top of the stitch, catch another strand and come back down. I can, as long as the color stays the same, go down into the next row stitches. And it's okay to be random with how you weave in your ends. Sort of the more erratic and the more directions you change, the less likely it is that your yarn is going to make its way back out of where you've woven it into. All right, and I will cut it there. Get that tail out of there. Let me go back to the center here. So this was, the center here is where we had that, where we started with the chain and we worked into the first chain. We worked all those stitches into that first chain, and then we pulled that chain to sort of cinch everything closed. And our tail is on the back side. So I'm going to weave back through the feet of all those stitches. So the bottom of your stitch with crochet stitches, where you go down into a stitch, yarn over and bring up, where it connects to that row of stitches or that chain below, it's called the feet of your stitches. So I'm just working through the feet of those double crochets in that first round, just to reinforce that nice tight center. And then I'm going to go up through the body of one of those double crochets to the top, and then over to its neighbor and come back down through the feet one more time on those two stitches, and then I'm done. So you can give this a light blocking. It doesn't need a lot of work. It doesn't have to be super fussy. These blankets are really sweet. They're really fun. It's a great meditation. This is great mindless crochet. When you get really comfortable with it, you'll get to a point where you really don't even have to look at what your hands are doing with granny squares, because you can feel the spaces where you're going to work your next stitches. You'll probably have to pay attention in the edging just to make sure that you're getting the skipped stitches right. But I just love this project. It's great for color changing yarn, variegated yarn, big, supersized skeins. Pick up a couple, make a couple of blankets, and enjoy. So now you've discovered just how easy and meditative this granny square can be for larger projects, and you can have fun exploring all the different yarns you can use. Join me for the next episode in this series and learn how to change color in every round of your granny squares. Remember, you can get a kit with the yarn and the pattern for this project at onebighappy.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below and click the bell to be notified every time we have a new video. And leave a comment telling me about your favorite granny square projects and what you'd like to learn next. Happy crocheting!